Welcome to Channel Iron Speed. This time we will discuss North Korean destroyers, the Najin Class frigate versus South Korean destroyers, the Sejong the Great Class. Najin Class frigate, the last surviving North Korean destroyer in the Yellow Sea introduction. In the military world, warships have an important role in maintaining the maritime sovereignty of a country. North Korea, though better known for its nuclear and ballistic missile programs, also has a sizable Korean People's Navy, KPN. One of the warships that has been the backbone of their navy for decades is the Najin Class frigate, a surface warship that has been in service since the 1970s. Although the ship is old and technologically outdated compared to modern warships belonging to South Korea, Japan, or the United States, the Najin Class still plays an important role in North Korea's maritime strategy. It is used for patrol, surveillance, and sometimes as a means of provocation in disputed waters, such as the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan. This article will discuss in depth the specifications, history, strategic role, as well as potential threats of the Najin Class frigate in the dynamics of security on the Korean Peninsula. History and development background of Najin Class. The Najin Class frigate is the first surface warship built by North Korea. The ship began development in the 1970s as North Korea sought to build a more independent navy after receiving help from the Soviet Union and China in the country's early days. The ship is based on a Soviet battleship design, with some modifications tailored to the needs of the North Korean military. The Najin Class was produced at North Korea's domestic shipyards and was the largest warship in the North Korean Navy's fleet for many years, before being replaced by smaller but more modern ships. Due to the limitations of the North Korean military industry, only 2 units of the Najin Class were ever built, and both of these ships are still in use today, albeit with various updates and modifications. Specification of Najin Class frigate. Although the Najin Class is often referred to as a destroyer, in some reports it is technically better categorized as a light frigate. Here are the main specifications of this boat. Length, about 100 meters. Width, about 10 meters. Weight, about 1,500 tons. Maximum speed, 26 to 30 knots. Cruising range, it is not known exactly, but it is quite limited due to fuel and engine technology limitations. Crew, about 200 to 250 personnel. Armament. Although these ships do not have advanced weapon systems like modern warships, the Najin Class still has a variety of weapons for defense and attack, including 1. Main gun 1 or 2 100mm caliber guns on the front of the ship for medium-range attacks. 2. Anti-aircraft guns, some 57mm and 30mm caliber guns used for defense against enemy aircraft. 3. Anti-ship missiles. In early versions, the Najin Class was not equipped with missiles, but in recent decades it is believed to have been modified with the Styx anti-ship missile, SSN-2, which is a Soviet-made missile with a range of about 40 to 50 kilometers. 4th, torpedo armed with torpedo launchers to deal with enemy submarines and warships. 5. Anti-submarine weapons have depth bombs and other weapons used against submarines. Electronic systems and radar. Compared to modern warships, the Najin Class radar and electronic systems are very limited. However, the ship is still equipped with basic navigation radar for operations at sea, surface search radar used to detect enemy ships at medium range, simple communication system that allows coordination with other naval units. The strategic role of the Najin Class in the North Korean Navy. Despite its age, the Najin Class is still of strategic value to the North Korean Navy. Here are some of the main roles of this ship. 1. Maritime border patrol and security. North Korea has a disputed maritime border with South Korea in the Yellow Sea, especially around the Northern Limit Line, NLL. The Najin Class ships are often used to patrol the region, both to watch enemy ships and to expose North Korea's military presence. 2. Interception and intimidation of foreign ships. The Najin Class has been reported several times approaching South Korean vessels and fishing boats that are thought to be violating the North Korean border. This is part of North Korea's strategy to demonstrate its dominance in the region. 3. Training and escort ships. Due to its considerable size, the Najin class is also used as a training ship for North Korean naval cadets. In addition, it is used to escort ships carrying the North Korean leader on their way to coastal regions. 4. Mobile Missile Platform. With the installation of Stick's anti-ship missiles, the Najin class could also be used as a mobile missile launch platform, although its effectiveness is questionable due to the limitations of its radar and fire control systems. Threats and weaknesses of Najin class threats to South Korea and its allies. Although not a modern warship, the Najin class could still pose a threat to South Korean patrol boats and even merchant vessels operating in waters around the Korean peninsula. In the event of a conflict, these ships can be used to fire anti-ship missiles or disrupt maritime trade routes. Disadvantages of Najin class. However, there are several major drawbacks that make this ship ineffective in combat against modern warships. 1. Outdated technology. The radar and weapon systems of the Najin class are not comparable to those of South Korean warships that have advanced Aegis and missile systems. 2. Limited speed and maneuverability. With a maximum speed of about 26 to 30 knots, the ship is not fast enough to avoid attacks from modern warships or combat aircraft. 3. Vulnerable to air attack. Without an advanced air defense system, the ship is highly vulnerable to air attacks from South Korean and United States warplanes or drones. Conclusion. The Najin class frigate is one of the oldest warships still in service in the North Korean Navy. Although its technology is outdated and its capabilities are limited compared to modern warships, it still plays an important role in North Korea's maritime defense strategy. With rising tensions on the Korean peninsula, the ship's presence in the Yellow Sea remains a potential threat to South Korea and its allies. However, in the event of a large-scale war, the Najin class is unlikely to last long against much superior modern naval technology. Sejong the Great Class, South Korea's flagship destroyer. Introduction. South Korea has one of the most advanced navies in the world, especially in dealing with threats from North Korea and maintaining regional stability in East Asia. One of the most powerful warships in the Republic of Korea Navy, ROKN fleet, is the Sejong the Great Class destroyer, kdx-iii. This destroyer has become not only the largest and most advanced in the history of the South Korean Navy, but also one of the most powerful destroyers in the world. With its Aegis combat system, anti-ship missiles, air defense, and underwater warfare capabilities, the Sejong the Great Class is a symbol of South Korea's maritime power. In this article, we will discuss in detail its specifications, armaments, technology, strategic role, as well as its impact on military dynamics in the region. Background and development history. In the late 1990s, South Korea began to develop their Navy modernization program, known as the KDX, Korean Destroyer Experimental Program. The program aims to build modern destroyers capable of dealing with threats from North Korea, as well as securing South Korea's maritime interests. Sejong the Great Class is the third generation of the KDX program after the kdx-iii, Gwanggaeto, the Great Class, and kdx-ii, Chungmugongyi Sunsin class. The ship was designed to have superior combat capability with the Aegis system that can detect and track hundreds of targets at once, greater missile launch capacity than any other destroyer in the world, advanced air defense and anti-submarine warfare capabilities. Construction of the first ship began in 2004, and the first ship, ROK Sejong the Great, DDG-991, was launched in 2007 and officially entered service in 2008. To date, South Korea has operated 3 ships in this class, with plans to build 3 additional units. Specification of Sejong the Great Class. As one of the largest destroyers in the world, Sejong the Great is almost equal in size to the cruisers of the United States Navy. Length, 165 meters. Width, 21 meters. Weight, 11,000 tons, full load. Maximum speed, 30 knots, about 56 kilometers per hour. Cruising range, more than 10,000 kilometers. Crew, about 300 personnel. Compared to the U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the Sejong the Great Class has more missile launching capacity, making it one of the destroyers with the greatest firepower in the world. Armament and combat system. The Sejong the Great Class is a multi-role warship which means it can operate in a wide variety of combat types, from air defense, ground attack, anti-submarine warfare, to electronic warfare. 1. The Aegis Combat System. One of the main features of the ship is the Aegis Combat System, Baseline 7.1, which is used to control and coordinate all weapon systems as well as the ship's radar. Spy-1DV radar. This radar can track more than 1,000 targets simultaneously over hundreds of kilometers. Ballistic missile defense capability. This ship can detect and shoot down short and medium-range ballistic missiles using SM-3 or SM-6 missiles in the future. 2. Missiles and weaponry. A. Air Defense SM-2. Block 3 AB. This missile is used for medium to long-range air defense, with a range of about 90 to 150 kilometers. RIM 116 RAM. Rolling Airframe Missile. Short-range missile for defense against enemy aircraft and anti-ship missiles. B. Ground and anti-ship attacks. Tomahawk missiles in the future. The Sejong the Great Class is designed to carry Tomahawk cruise missiles, which can strike ground targets over 1,500 kilometers away. Haesong missile, SSM-700K, a South Korean-made anti-ship missile with a range of about 150 to 200 kilometers. C. Anti-submarine warfare. K-ASROC anti-submarine missile, used to attack enemy submarines with air-launched torpedoes. Torpedo K-745. Blue Shark, lightweight torpedo to attack submarines in shallow and deep waters. 3. Cannons and deck guns. 127 millimeters, 5-inch main gun, used for ground attacks and attacks on small ships. CIWS, close-in weapon system, phalanx 20 millimeter, automatic weapon to shoot down missiles or enemy aircraft approaching. 4th. Missile launch capacity. Sejong the Great Class has 128 vertical launch cells, VLS, which is more than any other destroyer. Korea Vertical Launch System, KVLS, 48 cells, for cruise and anti-submarine missiles. Mark 41 Vertical Launch System, 80 cells, for air defense missiles such as the SM-2. For comparison, the U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers have only 96 VLS cells, while the Japanese Maya-class destroyers have 96 cells. Strategic role in the South Korean Navy. The Sejong the Great Class has an important role in South Korea's defense strategy. 1. Air and anti-missile defense. As ships with the Aegis system, the Sejong the Great Class can protect the South Korean fleet from ballistic missile attacks and airstrikes. 2. Security of South Korean waters. The ship was used to escort South Korean merchant ships, especially in major trade routes such as the Korea Strait and the East China Sea. 3. Remote attack operations. With cruise missiles that could be installed in the future, the Sejong the Great Class could be used to strike strategic ground targets in North Korea or other countries if needed. 4th. Coordination with allies. As part of the regional defense system, the ship can operate alongside the U.S. and Japanese fleets, especially in the face of threats from North Korea and China. Conclusion. The Sejong the Great Class is the most powerful destroyer South Korea has, in fact one of the most advanced in the world. With its Aegis system, advanced missiles, and outstanding combat capacity, it is the backbone of South Korea's naval defenses and a key tool in maintaining the balance of power in East Asia. In the future, with the possible addition of SM-3 ballistic defense missiles and Tomahawk cruise missiles, this ship will further strengthen South Korea's position as a major maritime power in the region.